Clayton County or some other county. All right, Mr. Reynolds.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Reynolds,
Yes.
are you DeQuavius Reynolds?
DeQuavius Bernard Reynolds, yes.
Okay, so Mr. Reynolds, you're charged with count 1, battery, family violence, count 2, battery, count 3, simple battery, family violence, count 4, simple battery, and count 5, criminal trespass with damage. So, sir, I asked the indigent defense attorney to speak with you about whether you wish to have representation, and he tells me that you wish to represent yourself. So tell me what's going on, sir.
Well, what's going on with what?
So you actually wish to represent yourself?
Today, yes. Today, yes, I wish to present DeQuavius Reynolds, yes.
Okay, and so when you say today, meaning that you want to represent yourself, but you want to hire an attorney, or you want to represent yourself all the way through the trial process?
I would like to hire an attorney.
Okay, do you have in mind who you wish to hire?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so how do you know you're gonna hire an attorney? Is there somebody on the outside of the jail helping you with that?
Yes.
Okay, so understand, I just need to make you aware of these things. So you're going to be in jail on these charges until such time as an attorney, if you intend to hire an attorney, I'll give you a continuance, but that attorney has to make an entry of appearance and come before the court and get us in a posture to either have your bond modified so that you can get out by bond if that's the issue, or to present a plea or a trial. So you understand that might take some time.
I would like to speed up the process.
Okay, I don't know how to speed up hiring your own attorney, but if you have somebody who's working on it on the outside, you can do that. But I cannot, if an attorney says he needs to be paid a certain amount, I cannot compel him. I can't make him come to court unless he's been fully paid. You understand that?
Okay, yes, ma'am. If I'm presenting DeQuavius Reynolds person today in court, I would like to ask for a bond modification today.
Okay, so we would not hear that today. The reason is there's a victim in this case, and the victim has to speak with the state, and they will introduce evidence on behalf of the victim and on behalf of the state. So they usually get 10 days to get that done. Now, I will accept your oral motion since you're in jail. If you want to have a bond modification hearing, we'll set it out for maybe 10 days, so 2 weeks from now, because that'll get us past the 10 days.
Yes.
And then you can have a bond modification hearing. Okay, but you don't know who you want to have represent you.
No, ma'am.
Okay, but you do have somebody on the outside who's willing to pay them and get them hired for your case.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to make that clear, Mr. Reynolds. You're free to go at this time from the state or from the defense. Is there anything I failed to tell him regarding him wanting to represent himself?
No, Your Honor, I just had a question about this, the bond modification. Are we setting it for the 29th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So thank you, sir. You can go back with the sheriff's office. He can go back down, and then we'll start with the pleas.
Thank you.
All right, Your Honor.
Public disturbance and obstruction of an officer. Mr. Brown, you're represented by attorney Justin White. He's indicated that you wish to enter a plea of nolo to counts 1 and 2. Raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hands down. Okay, sir, you're entering a plea of nolo to case 2023-CR-06166. By entering the plea of nolo, you give up the right to have a trial. you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, Mr. Brown?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Your Honor, on July the 20th, 2023, defendant was scheduled for a magistrate hearing in Clayton County. Your Honor, the officer indicated that defendant not being provoked decided to disrupt the judicial proceedings on that very day. Your Honor, defendant was given several verbal commands to stop the destruction, but defendant refused. The deputy on at least four other occasions requested the defendant to stop the disruption, but he refused. Defendant started banging the doors of the cell, causing disturbance. Your Honor, that is the factual basis. The state recommendation is count one will be a 12 months to serve 90 days. That'll be a credit for time served. The fine will be $300 fine. The balance will be probated. Count two will be 12 months to serve 90 days credit for time served. That will run concurrent with count one. The fine will be $300 fine.
Can we suspend the fines for credit for time served?
Yes, Your Honor.
You said 90 days, 90?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's kind of beyond what I would have given for either of these. So if y'all are agreeing to this, then that means he's already served that amount of time or somewhere close to it. Let's just give him credit for time served for the fine. All right, Mr. White, anything else on behalf of Mr. Brown?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Brown is currently incarcerated on a number of felonies at the moment. That's why he's been in jail for such a long period of time. I understand that the state is asking for probation in this case. However, he is not due to get out today due to the felonies. He still has to answer a number of different felonies and will have to be dealing with that as well. We would ask that the probation be suspended so that he could just go ahead and answer all these other felony charges that he has in Clayton County.
All right, in lieu of that information and what the court surmised, Mr. Brown, I'm going to accept your plea of NOLO to count one to serve 90 days credit for time served, balance suspended, as long as you have no new violations of the laws of the state of Georgia. Count two is 12 months to serve 90 days credit for time served, balance suspended, as long as you have no new violations of the laws of the state of Georgia. All right, you can go back with the sheriff's office, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Deputy Mr. Carroll, please. Mr. Carroll,
Yes, ma'am.
raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
You can put your hands down, sir. You're before the court on 2023 CR 01816 for criminal trespass. You're represented by attorney Justin White. On case 2023 CR 01838, you're before the court for criminal trespass, count one, theft by shoplifting, count two, marijuana 1 ounce or less, count three. You're represented by attorney Justin White. On the first case ending in 01816 for criminal trespass, you're entering a plea of guilty. On the second case for ending in 01838, for counts 1 and 2, you're entering a plea of guilty. For count 3, that will be no pros for upon the plea. Sir, by entering these pleas, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove you get your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, and not present any evidence or testimony against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
Factual basis and recommendation, please.
Your Honor, on December the 30th, 2022, officer was dispatched to the Walmart, because there's been an incident that defendant has been to the Walmart and taken multiple grocery and electronic items that defendant failed to pay. Your Honor, the officer was informed by the Walmart staff that defendant took item totaling $130.36. And also the Walmart staff indicated that defendant was given a notice not to enter the Walmart that this incident happened. Your Honor, that's the factual basis. Defendant, the state recommendation is count 1 for criminal trespass will be 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served. The balance will be probated. There will be a $300 fine and 40 hours community service, and defendant must not return to the Walmart. Count 2 will be 12-month probation, anti-theft, and count 3 will be no pros.
All right, and the remaining case?
Your Honor, that will be the sentence for 2023 CL 011838. The case 2023 CL 01813. Your Honor, that will be 12 months to serve 1 day as well, credit for time served. The balance will be probated. It's going to be a $300 fine, 40 hours community service, and do not return to the Walmart.
All right, Mr. White, is your client a good risk for probation?
Your Honor, I have not seen anything that has made me believe that he will not be able to succeed on probation. There were some issues regarding the Walmarts that I talked over with him yesterday to help resolve that issue. He now understands that he's not to go back into the Walmart. I don't believe that there's any risk that he would be able to fail probation, Your Honor.
Right. So, Mr. Carroll, how old are you, sir?
21.
Do you have a job?
No, ma'am. But I
Okay.
was, not to cut you off, sorry about that, but I was going to the military. That's why I want all of this court stuff over with. I was going to the Marines, and you can talk to the Buckhead Marine. They not actually the enlistment office, but they the officer office, and they got me in touch with Tyler Carmichael, and I was supposed to get all of this done and go to the Marines right after.
Okay. So if you actually enlist in the Marines, or then you can ask your probation officer to ask that your probation be changed if you haven't completed everything. But I want you to try and complete everything prior to going, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Mr. Carmichael. Mr. Carmichael, are you walking down or are you going do you want to break? Oh, you're there. Okay. So you're going to speak with Mr. Carmichael about probation and get signed up, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So thank you.
One more thing, I'm for sure going to leave today.
No, if nothing else is holding you, yeah, you can be released today. But I don't know if there are any other cases that are holding you. So that's between you and the jail to find that information. But on this case, 12 months to serve 1 day, balance probated, for you to pay a fine in the amount of $300. That'll be $444 with the surcharges. 40 hours of community service, and you're not to go back to any Walmart in Clayton County for the next 12 months. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that's the sentence on counts 1 and 2 of the case ending 01838. Those sentences will run concurrent. And that is also the sentence on case ending in 01816. 12 months, 1 day, credit for time served, balance probated, for you to pay a fine in the amount of $300, 40 hours of community service, and you're to not to go back to the any Walmart in Clayton County. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go have a chat with Mr. Carmichael, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, Judge Hayward,
Yes.
on the case ending in 1838, the count 2, is that the same sentence as count 1?
Yes. And they'll run concurrent, and count 3 will be no pros. And then the case ending in 01838 will run concurrent with the case 01816.
Okay, so
Thank
1 and 2 is the exact same sentences.
Yes,
Thank you.
no problem. All right, Mr. Mathis, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. Mr. Mathis, you're before the court. Christopher Mathis, 2022 CR 06531. Mr. White, your attorney has indicated you wish to enter a plea of no load to count 1, and count 2 will be no pros. By doing so, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And Mr. Mathis, if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On July 4th of 2022, while an officer was on patrol of Conley Road and Old Dixie Road in Forest Park, Georgia, where the incident did occur in Clayton County, the officer observed a motor vehicle determined to be operated by Mr. Mathis with extremely dark tint. The officer then initiated a traffic stop. Once the officer made contact with the driver, Mr. Mathis, determined that Mr. Mathis did not have a valid driver's license. The state is recommending for count 1, 12 months to serve, 10 days, the balance to be suspended, and count 2 to be no prosecutor. And his credit for time served.
All right, Mr. Mathis, I'm going to accept your plea of no load to count 1. Count 2 will be no pros. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 10 days, credit for time served. Balance will be suspended as long as you have no new violations of the laws of the state of Georgia. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Mr. Mathis, get a license, sir. You stand in line for about 45 minutes at the DMV. Put your earphones in, you can listen to your music and get a license. It's so much cheaper, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. You can go back with the sheriff's office. Novelli? All right. Mr. Novelli, raise your right hand for me.
Yes, ma'am.
You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Mr. Novelli, you have 2 cases. The first is 2021 CR 05932, driving too close with an accident. Count 1, count 2, driving on a suspended or revoked license, and count 3, no license. Your attorney has indicated that you wish, Mr. Justin White has indicated that you wish to enter a plea of guilty to counts 1 and 2, and count 3 will be no prost on this case. You also have the case 2023 CR 06098. Theft by taking, count 1, and disorderly conduct at count 2. You're entering a plea of guilty to both theft by taking and disorderly conduct. By entering these pleas to these cases, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. For the case ending in 05932, on May 18th of 2021, officer was dispatched to State Road 85 and Lake Ridge Parkway, where the incident occurred in Clayton County. It's in reference to a vehicle collision. At that time, once the officer conducted his investigation, he determined that Mr. Novelli, who was operating a motor vehicle, was at fault for the collision, which he had followed the vehicle too closely and rear-ended that particular vehicle. The state is recommending for count 1, a $100 fine to be suspended in consideration for his time in custody. Count 2, 12 months to serve officers, additionally, Your Honor, the officer determined that his license was suspended. For count 2, 12 months to serve 10 days, the balance to be suspended, credit for time served, and count 3 to be no prosecutor.
All right. And on the remaining case?
For the case ending in 06098, on September 30th of 2021, an officer was dispatched to 4600 Frontage Road, and that's Forest Park, Georgia, where the incident did occur in Clayton County. At that time, the officer made contact with the caller who advised that the defendant, Mr. Novelli, had taken another employee's food, and that the incident was on camera. At that time, Mr. Novelli was then terminated, and after being terminated, he became angry, was making threats to management and other employees. Your Honor, he was asked to leave the property but refused to do so. The state is recommending for count 1, 12 months to serve 30 days, the balance to be suspended. Do not return to the location. And for count 2, 12 months to serve 30 days, the balance to be suspended. And I stay away from, do I have that person's name? I just do not return. I don't have that person's name there. And it will be credit for time served, Your Honor.
All right. Anything on behalf of Mr. Novelli?
Yeah, I only had, only. I can
Your Honor, we just ask that you accept the negotiated plea.
Mr. Novelli,
Hmm,
how old are you, sir?
36.
What's going on, sir, that we got so much going on?
Ma'am, I ain't gonna lie. I've changed my life. I moved. I don't live in Clayton County or Atlanta anymore. I got married. I have a family at home. I have my own business now. This was years ago before that happened. I mean,
Okay.
it happened since.
All
then. I
right.
got my life together. I got my own business. I'm in school getting my GED. I started my own barbecue business. I live in Rome, Georgia. I don't even live out here anymore, man. I'm just trying to get on to my family. That's it.
All right, Mr. Novelli, it seems that something has happened that awakened you and made you the man that you were meant to be. So let's hope that that continues. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Let's make that example for your family and your kids that This is in your past, not your future, okay?
No.
All right, so I'm going to accept your plea of guilty to counts 1 and 2 on the case ending in 05932. I'll sentence you on count 1 to $100 fine suspended for credit for time served. On count 2, 12 months to serve 10 days credit for time served, balance suspended as long as you have no new violations of the law. On the case ending in 06098, 12 months to serve 30 days credit for time served, balance suspended as long as you have no new violations of the law. That's on count 1. And count 2, 12 months to serve 30 days credit for time served, balance suspended as long as you do not go back to the incident location. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, and I also wanted to say thank you, because my dad been sick and he was on life support since I've been here. My mom put him in the nursing home, so I'm trying to go see him.
Yeah, you need to get home to check on your family. Okay? All right, take care, Mr. Novelli.